Have you ever felt like your inner world is, well, a total mess? A jumble of feelings and impulses that don't make any sense? Well, what if I told you it's not a mess at all? That it's actually a pretty sophisticated operating system. The only problem is, most of us were never given the user manual. This explainer is all about learning to finally read the signals our system has been sending us all along. Let's dive in.
So let's start with this really powerful image. He placed a beast on top of a jewel. This single phrase just perfectly captures the core conflict we're about to unpack. This fundamental tension that pretty much every single one of us feels inside.
So what is this tension? This first part is what the source calls the great inversion. It's this idea that our natural spiritual hierarchy, the way we were actually designed to function, is often completely flipped upside down in our day-to-day lives. And that right there, that's why things can feel so out of sync.
So what's the jewel in that quote? The jewel is the soul. And we're not talking about a metaphor here. We're talking about a real, divine essence inside of you. And here's the most important part. By its very design, it's pure. It can't sin. Its natural, default setting is to lean toward light and truth.
This slide really lays out the whole great inversion. On one side, you've got the soul. It whispers. It's eternal. It's all about truth. And then, on the other side, you have the self. In Arabic, it's called the nafs. And the nafs, it shouts. It's temporary, all about desire, and it is constantly being bombarded by impulse. In our daily lives, the shout of the nafs just completely drowns out the whisper of the soul. Understanding this is everything, because it shifts the question from what is wrong with me to how do I tune into the right frequency.
And this is absolutely crucial. Life's challenges, all the struggles, they are not a test of your soul's purity. That's a given. Your soul is already pure. The real test, the real exam, is about orientation. Can your soul stay pointed in the right direction, toward truth, while the beast of the nafs is trying to pull it every which way?
Okay, now let's get into this really powerful metaphor that completely reframes how we look at all our internal struggles. The core idea is simple, but it's a game changer. You are not broken. You are a bottle of pure water that is just constantly being shaken.
So first, let's talk about the water. What is it? The water is your pure soul. And no matter how much that bottle gets shaken, rattled, and thrown around, the water itself, your core essence, never actually gets dirty. It always stays pure.
The container, then, is your body and yourself, that nafs we were talking about. And this is what gets shaken by all of life's pressures: lust, fear, anger, grief, you name it. And when that container gets all agitated, the pure water inside gets cloudy and murky. But, and this is so important, the water isn't dirty. It's just unsettled.
And here it is. This is the key insight. Those cloudy feelings, the anger, the jealousy, the despair, they are not who you are. They are not your identity. They are simply diagnostics. Think of them like the warning lights on your car's dashboard. They're not there to tell you you're a bad car. They're just signals telling you, hey, check the engine. They are signals, not sentences.
Okay, so if these feelings are just warning lights, how do we actually read them? This next section gives us a practical tool, a kind of self-diagnostic checklist to help us understand these signals and start the real work of getting reoriented.
Let's start with a big one: pride. And the question to ask yourself is so powerful. Do I resist truth when it touches me? Now, we're not just talking about obvious arrogance here. We're talking about that subtle internal flinch, that resistance you feel when someone corrects you or points out a flaw.
These questions get right to the heart of it. Just think about it for a second. Do you feel that flash of heat or humiliation when you're corrected? Do you secretly enjoy the feeling of being right more than the feeling of making peace? And be honest, do you struggle to just say, I was wrong, without adding a but or some other justification? These are all telltale signs of the ego at work.
So what's the fix? Well, the remedy is in small, consistent actions. It means consciously choosing truth over protecting your ego. It means practicing saying those hard words, "You're right," or "I was wrong," and just leaving it there. The source even suggests trying to accept one correction a day without any response at all. All these little acts help you cultivate the antidote, which is humility, or in Arabic, tawadu.
Okay, next up is a diagnostic that is incredibly relevant today. It's called the victim ego. And the core question here is a really challenging one. Do my wounds justify my behavior? It forces us to ask if we're using the pain of our past as a permission slip to cause harm in the present.
And these questions, they're sharp for a reason. They're designed to see if our ego has kind of fused with our injuries. Do we use our past suffering as a get-out-of-jail-free card for our current behavior? Do we shut down any conversation about accountability because, hey, we've suffered enough? Do we keep replaying old hurts in our mind just to keep that feeling of being justified alive? This is the point where pain stops being an event and starts becoming an identity.
The way out lies in a very careful separation. We have to learn to separate our legitimate pain from this false sense of permission to cause more pain. It means allowing ourselves to grieve our wounds without weaponizing them. It means seeking real healing, not just using our history as a kind of moral leverage. The antidote here is a beautiful virtue, patience with accountability, known as sabr in Arabic.
And for our final example, let's talk about control. The question is so simple, but it goes so deep. Do I need outcomes to feel safe? This gets right to the heart of that need to manage every little thing, to micromanage the world around us just to keep our anxiety from boiling over.
Does uncertainty just send you into a panic? Do you find it almost impossible to trust a process or a timeline that isn't your own? And this is a big one. Do you see surrender not as an act of faith, but as an act of weakness? These are all signs that our ego is trying to play God, trying to pretend that it's in charge of the universe.
So the remedy for this overwhelming need to be in control is the active practice of letting go. Now, this isn't passive. It is intentional surrender. It means learning to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. It means repeating that simple but profound mantra, Allah is running this, not me. These practices help build the antidote, which is that deep, profound trust in a higher plan, known in Arabic as tawakkul.
This brings us to our final section, and it's one that reframes this entire experience of inner work. And this is so important because it helps us see all the friction and difficulty not as a sign that we're failing, but as the very mechanism of our freedom.
I really want you to let this sink in. Struggle is not a bug, it's a feature. The fact that you are struggling is the sign that you are actively engaged in the work of reorienting your soul. It is evidence that you are on the path, not that you've fallen off of it.
You see, the pain we feel in this process isn't a punishment. It's more like a process of extraction. The discomfort you feel when you restrain an impulse, the sting of a real apology, the vulnerability of true surrender, all of these are the tools that are literally extracting the soul from the ego's grip. The soul is liberated through this friction, not through comfort.
And so we end right back where we started. The ultimate test, in the end, isn't about how smart you are or how much you know or how well you can argue your case. It is simply about which way you are facing. It is a test of orientation. And that leaves us with one final question to sit with. In this very moment, which way is your soul pointing?